players are on the stage and they got it locked in. Seattle, y'all ready to get this one started? One more time, I know y'all can get louder. Y'all ready to get this grand final started? It's time to send it over to our casters to get this one started. On set and Brav, let's lock it up.
Thank you so much, Blaze, and the stage is set here in Seattle. All eyes on the prize. We've just seen both Cloud9 and Optic Gaming making their way to that main stage and that Halo World Championship trophy. They couldn't take their eyes off it.
They could not. The final two here, and you have to say, these two teams, in terms of overall performances, have looked the best, and it's no surprise that we see them here in our grand finals at the Halo World Championship.
We'll start off by talking about our map rotation, though, just so you know how this grand final is going to work at home. We move from best of 5s to a best of 7. If Optic Gaming win this first best of 7, they will be your Halo World Champions. However, if Cloud9 win this first best of 7, we go again. And then it's all said and done.
That is right. How about the second that Optic gets on the stage, the green wall chance is already underway. You got Hitch with the low tom. The man has got the drum, and the green wall is out here in force.
The green wall is out here in force, without a doubt. And speaking of a force, that is exactly what Optic Gaming have been. Not just this tournament, but starting from the NA Super, they have just ascended to a different level. After that first championship in Orlando, now it just seemed like the trajectory was set for them to become a Halo World Champion.
It really did feel that way, and they have looked better and better, and maybe they've never looked better. As we take a look here, they are undefeated in 13 straight series. They are undefeated all weekend long, and they have only dropped one single game.
One single game, perfect in objective game types as well up to this point. But who else would be there staring across them? It's Cloud9, the guardians of the grand finals. If there's a LAN event happening anywhere in the world and Cloud9 are there, you can guarantee they're going to be in that grand finals. They've got a long road ahead of them, Andy, but if anyone can do it, it's got to be C9.
That's right. Let's not forget StelluR and Eco. They've been in this place before. They've held that trophy in their hands. They know what it feels like to become a world champion, and you also heard the desk talking about Bound's rookie season. This guy has burst onto the scene, and what a story it would be for him to take a world championship in the end. You'd
have to make the argument it could be one of the greatest rookie seasons of all time. Bound making his debut, by the way, back in Raleigh, the kickoff major in Halo Infinite. Hey, we didn't even know what he looked like until that event, and now he's on the main stage in the World Championship final.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and take a moment to set the stage.
Let's do it indeed. There has been hundreds of days of Halo Infinite competition, and in that time, we have had thousands of teams enter, battle it out with regional champions crowned across the globe.
I mean, it's been incredible. We've all watched, whether here from the main stage or, of course, every one of you joining us from home around the world, as 3 separate teams earned those championships at those majors. But now, after 4 unforgettable days and a hell of a lot of BR and ammo, we find ourselves with just 2 teams remaining, and I think a lot of players and fans alike, and certainly you and I included, believe this is the most competitive landscape that Halo has ever seen.
Not only is it a series of Halo Infinite for the best part of $1 million as well in the prize pool, it's a chance to be named the best, to join the history books, to join that elite group who can call themselves Halo World Champions. And as we look ahead to what we're going to see, it's only right we pay respect to the past before we get this series underway. The impact of the likes of the Ogre Twins, Walshy, Strongside, Pistola, and so many more make Halo more than just a game for so many of us. And with that in our mind, we want to say it's a pleasure, it's a privilege for Bravo and myself to take you through the final chapter of what has been an incredible year of action. It's a Sunday night in Seattle, my friends, and you know what that means. It's grand finals time here. It's Optic versus C9. Let's crown a champion.
Here we go, baby. TriPPPeY and StelluR on your screen. Both of them fighting here now for a world championship. It's a best of 7, and game number 1 is underway. It's Catalyst CTF, and both of these teams are undefeated in this game type in this weekend so far.
I mean, what a way to set the stage. Both teams have not dropped this map. It's going to give us a really good indication of how the teams are feeling and who's feeling hot as we head into the first map of our grand final. At the moment, it's going to be C9 who have the advantage. Pznguin, who has been superb so far in this tournament. This man loves the Halo World Championships. Back in 2016, he had the highest KD, but he's going to have to take a neg 1 as the overshield gets back-whacked by Formal.
Wow, he tried to take the fast route in with the grapple. He gets back-whacked by Formal with the overshield. That's a huge play early on from Formal and the green wall.
Formal trying to put pressure on. C9 alert to it, though. You can see turtle up in their base at the moment. With a couple of kills going their way and Optic losing 2 players. It's time for Cloud9 now to try and think about moving forward as Bound picks up another. Optic on the back foot.
Still 3 dead here. Despite that early opening here, Cloud9 will keep the spawns rolling. Still 2 dead here. TriPPPeY and Lucid fighting against all of Cloud9.
Look at this push coming in from C9 though. TriPPPeY versus Eco. Eco uses that grapple to get out, and perfectly as well, because who is there to pull that flag to finish that kill with Pznguin?
Oh, Formal off the respawn. That's a huge kill to stop the flag. If the flag crosses that threshold right there, it almost certainly goes halfway across the map. Bound now going to continue advancing the flag. However, 2 were dead. He needs to slow down and reset a bit.
Bound fully aware of the situation on the map. 2 players have fallen. However, a little play like that is going to maybe look to even things up. You've got Bound versus Lucid in the 1v1 battle. There's a spike grenade. Lucid just buying time for his teammates to get in position. Formal accepts the invitation, comes to join him, keeps him alive.
Should be able to get his return as well. Flag is also running now all the way across the other side. Overshield popping in a few, but not before TriPPPeY's got the flag, and he's coming home.
Got some work to do first, though. You can see StelluR overextended, and StelluR and Eco get kills inside of the Optic Gaming base. StelluR picks up another one as well, so Lucid and TriPPPeY now thinking about combining together to get the kills to put the first flag in. Now they've got to worry about a counter cap, and Bounce back with a vengeance. He's got the next overshield.
That's the second overshield for Cloud9 here. That's great power of management for them so far in this game.
Bound's going to get the touch as well. APG in the death screen is 3v3 on the map. Bound's going to try and force this one forward, and it looks like the first strike is going to go to Cloud9. Bound showing that he's not just a slayer, he can move that flag too.
And the C9 fans in the room getting loud as well. They want to make it known that it's not just the green wall that has a huge presence here in the crowd. Also Cloud9 fans getting loud after that first cap. They are the first to strike.
Ooh, and Bound 1v3, he comes out with 1 and he does damage onto 2 other players as well. However, Eco just couldn't locate his BR reticle where he needed it to there to clean up some of those kills. Optic stabilize here. They get inside the C9 base. Bound's coming off a respawn alongside Pznguin, but APG, he's got that flag on the move.
Also kills coming in here. They just took down StelluR. Now 4 players up on the map, but they will need to prioritize these spawners who are going to be overextending right towards their base.
APG, one of the most experienced players, one of the longest serving Halo players that we have in the Halo Championship Series, is going to have to lean on that experience now, because as he runs this flag, members around him have fallen. Bound staying alive as well. APG takes him down. But you can see C9 on that return. APG maybe thinking about doing something sneaky. Pznguin's there. Pznguin gets the return.
APG goes for the repulse. It also repulses the flag, so the flag is reset. It's a great return from Cloud9, and that will let their entire team slow things down and breathe for just a moment. They will maintain that 1-0 lead.
We flip over to the point of view of the regular season MVP. That man's name is Lucid. Dancing around at the moment, but he's going to be taken to the death screen there after a nice beatdown that comes in from Bound to give a couple of numbers here to C9. TriPPPeY, the only player alive here for Optic. And once again, you can see he's got decisions to make. Eco's going for that overshield, and I think he's going to get it as well. C9 actually play the overshield. They do not get the pop, but they do also have that flag moved up the stand.
That's great pressure from TriPPPeY in the end. The overshield will be played, but at what cost here? Here comes the flag. 2 dead. Pznguin needs to slow play this. There's pressure on his flag.
Got to be careful here. Pznguin knows that the pressure's coming in, knows that teammates are falling around him. First thought probably here for Pznguin. Get damage down, stop that counter cap opportunity. As Formal tries to take advantage of it. Here's Lucid, there's a double for him. Bound now last alive as Optic look to answer back.
Now Eco, your last player alive here. He's going to be a spawner. Lucid gets the double kill. He gets the return. He also continues the run, doing it all as he's done all season. He's also 12-5 in this game.
Lucid has been in World Championship for most of the year. Takes just a moment, a stutter step, before securing the first flag for Optic. It's 1-1.
And beautiful response there from Optic Gaming. It looked like Cloud9 was really just holding off that pressure. But in the end, Optic strike. They tie the game up 1-1 here. It's a big part of denying that overshield as well.
Optic Gaming tying up the game at 1-1. The comms are going to sound crispy. It's time for us to jump into a listening now with Astro Gaming.
Yeah, we live.
There's a guy in our base.
They're going to get a ball here, probably.
I've shield in the shoulder. Do we need to Live in the base, Joey. Live in the base, Joey. I can play pink, Joey. I can play pink to you. Just live, Joey. Just build.
I can't.
I'm getting out.
The right shoulder. Oh, he's jumping up right now, Tommy.
We got research. You guys are flagging range.
Yeah, let's go back.
Right there with you.
One shot. Above you, feel. Have shield.
Yeah, we go.
Two. That's fine.
We're good. Yep. That went one. We got plenty of time. Let's stand skewer.
I'm not car. I need help, guys.
Help Joey.
He went cuts.
Might be hiding in the corner, Brad.
He's still cuts. Weak. StelluR cuts.
Red's looking for him.
They're Carl. There's gonna be two on me, guys.
Where we gonna flag?
I just got melted from their main map.
Two dead.
They're bottom mid.
One shot. Hurt too.
Let's just show we pink.
Planner left just a little bit harder.
Yeah, I'm here, Dre.
Their door.
Yeah, just milk, Brad.
I'm gonna go pink, Dre.
Our door.
I'm here, Dre.
Ours are pink.
I'm here.
Carl back.
As we jump out of the listening and back into the game, it's Cloud9 who strike next. It's 2-1. So the team dressed in blue at the moment, but Formal's going to change that story.
He is. He's going to run this Ivy side. He knows he doesn't have the numbers. You can tell he's slowing down the run. He's going to double back to get a little more support before he runs this home. But both flags are pulled here, and both teams will try to run this on Ivy side.
APG gets the stop. APG with responsibility on his shoulders now. Has to be worried about his own flag, but also with assisting Formal to deal with these players from Cloud9. It's 4 dead for C9. They will get this return. But as you can see, it looks like C9 managed to get that flag back to base as well.
But Formal goes for the repulse on the kill and repulse the flag, and the flag returned during the repulsor there, so he's going to have to start the run one more time.
Optic Gaming inside of their base. Flag is moving though here from Formal. Couple of kills being picked up. He turns back, but he doesn't need to help APG as he picks up the double. But there is Bound being such a nuisance, but a trip ski for APG. That experience on display once again.
A killing spree as well as he brings his flag home. You thought Bound might have the stop. APG has something to say about that. They're looking to secure the game-tying flag.
He's got the assistance to run this one in Pznguin, and with 4 minutes left on the game clock, Optic Gaming tie this one up at 2-2. There's life in the green wall here in game number 1.
Look at APG's numbers. He's 18, 14, and 12. Those are world championship numbers. The man is looking to strike. Overshield still down bottom middle.
Full commitment there from Trippy to make sure that C9 did not get that overshield. Gave his life up for it. Made sure that it was even shields across the board. Trades just back and forth on mid-map at the moment. You can see that the intensity, the speed at which both of these teams are playing it, and that's something we spoke to Eco about before this tournament kicked off. How do they match the pace of Optic? If they have to slow it down, they have to recognize it as quickly as possible, but they love to push the pace. He said himself, well, we can play fast, we're gonna play fast.
Yeah, so far they're doing it. You might have seen Optics run in Orlando, you might have seen it here, and also C9 dropping down early. You might have thought maybe they're not up to the task. They are pushing Optic Gaming to their limit here. Tied up 2-2 with 3 minutes left.
One of the reasons for that is Bound. 21 kills, leading the lobby at the moment for Cloud9. Trippy doing some work inside of his base, now turning his attention for a nice little double kill. Bound, that player I was talking about, is last alive, and he's having to wrap back here to stop that flag moving.
Bound, ooh, great name. Trippy is locking down his lobby. He knew the pressure was coming, somehow stays alive as well.
Pznguin flies out to clean him up though. Lucid now. Thinking about rotating back and making sure his base is secure. Knows that APG is under pressure. And that's probably going to give the indication that's where the push is going to come in from Cloud9. Pznguin and StelluR trying to apply said pressure. However, it's been held off well by Optic Gaming here. A little bit of a reset across the map. Pznguin though, being so sneaky.
Good chance this overshield decides this next flag. Gonna be popping up in 21 seconds here. You can tell both teams just really showing each other respect in these moments as we wait 15 seconds till the next overshield.
Both know the difference between the two teams is so slender. There can be one death. Gives away an overshield. From that, you have that butterfly effect where the flag gets moving. And all of a sudden, you find yourself coming off a respawn desperately, trying to stop that flag. StelluR's going to get the next overshield here for Cloud9. Not only that, he's got the skewer, and Optic have 2 players in the respawn screen.
Wow, they're spawning in the back of the base here. This is the opportunity for Cloud9 to strike. 150 on the clock. They've got all the goodies to play with.
StelluR, vital to the success of this push. Still has a lot of overshield to play with as well. A couple of trades going in the favor of Optic, though. You can see that StelluR's had to turn his attention from the flags on making sure the numbers are equal. There's one, but there's the pressure from TriPPPeY. They neutralize the overshield. No impact here for Cloud9.
What a counter from Optic Gaming. Not only do they isolate themselves away from the overshield, but they pick up kills on other players there. They get 2 dead. That left StelluR to try to clean up the scraps. He couldn't do it. That's a great counter from Optic Gaming. We will stay tied at 2-2 with 1:15 left on the clock.
You see that TriPPPeY knew there was someone near him. He just couldn't find where he was. Eco trying to nade him out at the moment. Lucid is there to help him out. And finally, it looks like Eco will be taken down by APG. But again, the last time we saw a flagpole feels like a lifetime ago now. Both teams just cannot get inside the base.
Absolutely, you risk a lot if you go for a flagpole at the wrong time. There's a very good chance of a counter cap. But as we say that, 2 dead for C9, and Former will start the next run.
Uses that grapple to just almost force it down that high hole. 2 dead here for Optic, make it 3 dead. TriPPPeY last alive, the return will come in.
What does TriPPPeY do here? 30 seconds left on the clock. That run will not go. He needs to make sure they play defense here and look for a little bit of damage and control off the respawn. 30 seconds on the clock.
Double push on the skewer side of the map here. Former will pick up that kill onto Eco, who was the player who fell just below him. TriPPPeY, though, you can see, just sent something there. Whether it was communication coming in from Optic, someone saw StelluR trying to sneak down, and Bound is going to keep him alive for now. The skewer could be a game changer here for C9.
Trade's going down here. Keep in mind, at 2-2, this overshield is going to be a big factor because we will see overtime likely here. Or on a round 1 tie. 10 seconds left here. If we don't see a pull, we will go into an overtime.
Bound just about manages to sneak out with his life. Wasn't able to connect on that player in the back flag. We're into overtime. 2-2, the game ends. We said neither team have lost this game type. You can see exactly why.
Wow, I mean, we talk about a great game 1 here to the grand finals at the Halo World Championship. These teams so evenly matched here. Stride for stride, they will each put 2 flags on the board, and now we are into a 5-minute overtime.
First kill will go to Lucid. The restart of these overtimes is usually where we see the games decided. You have the power-ups on the map, you have the overshield, you have the skewer. Bound get a little bit reckless here, going for an Optic and just waiting. They're setting the trap, and it looks like Cloud9 are taking the bait. It's going to be TriPPPeY who gets that OS.
Perfect timing there from Optic Gaming, 2 dead for Cloud9, and it's very different from our first game. You see a lot of power-up control coming in from Cloud9, but now Optic Gaming, they saw what they did off the opening, they counter that, and now TriPPPeY might not know there's another player on the back flag.
Oh, he doesn't. Bound slides out though. Bound makes his presence known, and TriPPPeY takes advantage of that 2 dead hit for C9.
TriPPPeY's running this.
TriPPPeY with that kill has got that flag going.
Yeah, he's running this right at the C9 spawners. They don't care. They're taking it straight in their face. Keep in mind, this would be the game-winning cap.
And why doesn't he care? Because he's got Formal alongside him. Formal picked up 2 kills, and TriPPPeY, it's a clear run home. Optic Gaming will win game number 1 of your grand finals in overtime.
Talk about the perfect timing push. Complete power-up dominance from Cloud9 all game in that first 12 minutes of regulation. However, Optic Gaming, they learn from that regulation period. They come into overtime, they win the opening battle and the overshield, and they essentially win the game off the back of those opening kills.
Yeah, and it's just those little moments we always talk about. Overshield, that first pickup, it was almost as if Optic had remembered the opening strategy from Cloud9. They readjusted, and they baited that overshield. Maybe C9 looking at it thinking, Optic, I'm going for this. We might be able to steal in, but as soon as that thought comes into your head, that's where you play into the hands of Optic. All smiles for Lucid here, understandably so.
You bet. Right now you see the Optic fans, of course, the green wall.
That's number 1.
Strong numbers. He's actually Seattle's number 1 Optic fan. Great to have you with us here. Brick by brick goes the green wall. The first brick is laid in the game types there. It's a best of 7, and they now have 1 game secured under their belt, needing 3 more to close this out. As a reminder, Cloud9 needs to win not just this best of 7, but another best of 7 to call themselves world champions. That's 1 game for Optic. Next, we set our sights on StelluR Streets.
Yes, we do indeed. Both these teams have so much history on this map, and Slayers have been so strong for Optic. However, of the game types they've lost this event, which there is 1, it was, of course, that Slayer game type. So C9 have to keep that in mind and think about answering back in this series. But that is the first step, like you say, on the ladder, completed for Optic Gaming. Game number 2 is in front of us now. First to 50 kills here on the streets. If it's Optic, they'll be up by 2. Will C9 be able to answer back and equalize a 1-1?
That's the question. How do they bounce back? It was such a great performance. Keep in mind, Cloud9 with a lead there for most of regulation. They get upset there. We are now into game number 2 here. StelluR on Streets. Optic Gaming leads 1-0.
All eyes on Bound as well. This man is going to go forward and he's going to be running at you. And already the speed at which he's in the face of TriPPPeY means that TriPPPeY doesn't even know he's behind him. With the kills being traded out, C9 actually find themselves on the back foot. So Pznguin now has to turn his attentions to not only staying alive, but maybe using that Stalker to lock down Rockets. But with that nade and the shield being taken down, that just allows Formal to move in and say, you know what? I'll take these in my hands.
TriPPPeY and APG also pick up kills as well. 3 dead now for Cloud9. What a start for Optic Gaming off of, once again, a double kill on the Neons. Paves the way for a free rocket grab, and they capitalize on the damage and the man advantage. They now lead by 2.
C9 needs to not panic here, though. Even though Optic have the weapons, they have map control, there are going to be moments on Street Slayer where you are going to be under the pump because you don't have control of said weapons. If you can keep that damage minimal, like C9 have managed to do, it's a great sign for you as a team.
It's great game management, like you say, from C9. They had 2 players dead. You had Formal with the Rockets. On paper, that should be a huge Optic Gaming lead. Instead, Cloud9 has kept this close despite not having power weapon control.
2-kill lead now for Optic Gaming. You can see already the game has slowed down almost to a complete standstill between the 2 teams. Here's the flank coming in from StelluR though, but there's APG. Oh, APG! Turns and burns StelluR. You cannot lose that one if you're StelluR.
Very nice there with a thrust from APG. He's going to take down that battle. Rockets coming up in 26 seconds. Got to talk about a player like APG just dominating all weekend long, and of course Formal as well, anchoring this team. A huge part of that Orlando win, and now setting their sights on a world championship. Formal of the opening is 2-1.
Something to highlight here about APG as well. We've just seen him with that huge BR battle. This man's ability to switch his playstyle, depending upon if it's an objective game type or if they're moving into a Slayer, actually means that he has the highest KD for Optic Gaming in the Slayer game type. So what is normally the support player who doesn't mind doing the dirty work, he'll keep those deaths down and he'll keep those kills up when it comes to Slayer.
That's right, with the Rockets up and Cloud9 able to bring this game back within 1. Let's get ready for an Astro listening here on the side of Cloud9.
Dead in 1, MPD 1, MPD 1, MPD 1. 2 top tower. 2 there, 2 there. Bottom tower. Live it, nice. Back PD, back PD, back PD, back PD. 1 shot PD, 1 shot PD. I'm looking P3, I'm looking P3. Look at can only be one there. He's benches 1 shot, APG. Here's the rocket. Benches 1 shot, I got C stairs. Okay, we're looking at it. Bench is dead. Watch out, trash. Driveway weak, Formal. 1 shot back at me. Trash at me. Driveway weak. Derail, 2 there. Okay, I'm pushing this guy. Yeah, I'm looking at Zan, He dropped. One does. Driveway somewhere. Keep living. B-rail still. Keep playing together, play tight. Yeah. I'm looking driveway. They ran away. Okay. Yeah, I've still got. No, in tires, Kevin. Yeah, I know. Arcade and tires on me. Arcade, get ahead. Tires still. Arcade weak. I'm pushing arcade out. Watch out, arcade out. I'm one right now to live. Duck arcade, so 1 shot. 1 shot. Banana days. Nice shot. 2 tires. I shot this one. Dead in, I'm 1 shot. Dead in arcade, I think. Shotgun down B stairs. They're pushing B. They're trying to push into B. We can be towards ice cream. Lucid. I'm going behind you, Ben. There's a guy C stairs, Kevin. Nated. 1 shot front C. I think they're both on there. I'm coming in. 1 shot red with thrust. He didn't die, bro.
As you come back into the game out of that listening, it's Cloud9 who have taken the control. And as you can hear, it is Eco, the leader. The IGL here for Cloud9, who is just calling the shots, and everyone responded.
Yeah, StelluR stepping out here. He doesn't know that someone's in arcade as well. Somehow he scampers away. No, he doesn't. Lucid with a commando angle. Leave it to Lucid. Kills will be traded out, though, in the end. And lots of pressure from Neons here in tires. 4-kill lead still for Cloud9.
One thing that Cloud9 have done extremely well is make sure when they get numbers, they're taking advantage of it. But here's TriPPPeY looking to turn something back into the favor of Optic Gaming. With that kill coming in from APG, it's 4 in the death screen for Cloud9, and now you're seeing just a 2-kill difference between the 2 teams.
I got just an absolute tug-of-war back and forth here. What was just about a 6-kill Cloud9 lead after the deficit is now just a 2-kill game. Optic Gaming has brought this back once again. This is how tightly these teams are matched, not wanting to give one another an inch.
And the way back into the game for Optic Gaming was that second set of rockets as well. You saw them in the hands of Formal, picked up 2 kills, and that's now 2 out of 2 power weapon pickups on the side of the green wall. C9 are going to have to look to improve that if they want to make sure this is as comfortable a win as they can find.
Look at this joust, just both teams just playing this slow. They do not want to give up any free kills, not letting any advantage go to the other way. This is one of the slower Street Slayers we've seen all season, and for very good reason. $180,000 on the line in this series alone. That's the difference in prize pool between 1 and 2, and it's a perfect time to get ready for an Optic Gaming listen-in as they trail by 2.
Everybody have shields. Everybody have shields.
Make sure we're checking corners.
They push up.
Okay, they're all south, maybe?
All south.
They couldn't get purple. No, they couldn't get out. They couldn't get purple.
Can I be?
We were not watching purple.
No, I don't think they did. I think they're all in stuff, dude. Dead ass.
One shot, commando. One shot, Brad, one shot.
Some main up?
Okay, listen, guys. I can use stickies for these rockets.
Okay, okay.
I'm absolute, guys. I'm absolute. They might push. They might push.
We need to back off. Brad, we need to back off this. Keep your shields, guys. Keep your shields. Don't leave.
Joey's trapped right now, though.
Yeah, Joey's trapped a little bit.
Joey,
Yo,
get
drop
the
red right now.
Watch the Joey.
Would you drop it?
Maybe we can red. There's two guys.
Rail,
Yeah, cuts that shield, cuts that shield.
rail, so they're really weak.
Careful. Rockets, guys. Rockets to 5.
I don't drop these. Watch my purple guys. Hey, you guys watch my purple.
Remember half outside.
Nice shot, Tommy.
Slow down. Listen, I have rocks.
I got melted from Pop Out.
Tommy, you have rockets, right?
He's just sitting on the purple stairs, Tommy.
He's one shot top out.
Yep, I spawned here,
Already
We're all here. They could be purple. Yeah, they're behind us.
Help Joey.
Joey is one.
Listen, they're still in sub, guys. They're still in sub.
Fine.
I'm gonna push out sub.
Top out or top
we should push some,
Yeah,
guys.
that's fine. Wait,
Tommy is inside with rockets right now.
One's Ivy. Hold their exit, Joey.
Watch it. Could be in the corner.
Hold their exit, Joey.
Nice one,
Dead.
dead.
Another one's here somewhere.
He's back sub.
Very weak, guys. See that? We're weak in Ivy.
Yo, Joey, you're completely alone right now.
Joey's watching purple stairs.
Play purple, Joey. Play purple, Joey.
Joey's pushed up on purple.
I'm absolute.
Okay, we'll get
Try to close.
I got He's one shot front sub.
There's 3 guys on Tommy.
One shot front sub. All sub, front sub.
Yeah.
Trash and Ivy. Trash and Ivy.
Okay, chill. Slow down. Good.
Already pushing me?
One shot.
Absolute serious.
Caution weak, Brad.
Are we gonna start running better together?
Start listening to each other, okay? Start listening. We're good.
Yeah, slow down.
bring this back
Don't move
very
out too
easily.
quickly. Don't move out too quickly.
I have spike baits.
Go, Commando, weak, go.
I can look commando. Yo, railing. Cuts the trash. Cut the trash.
Weak two. Commando on salute.
He's one bullet.
Commando. Nice. Yo, green jet with a soccer.
Rockets at 20.
Hear that?
Yep, speak. Green jet with a soccer.
They could get
Yeah,
purple.
top
Careful.
heaven. Looking
nice
purple.
fire.
I'm getting shot. Yo, somebody watch our purple.
Well, as we jump back into the game, we were listening to Optic, but it's all been Cloud9 since that listening, and it all stemmed from how Optic were almost baited into using both those rockets and getting nothing for it.
Absolutely. Here, look at Penguin just holding down the tires with the Bulldog and just doing all sorts of damage, shield in hand as well, and just keeps pumping and dumping, picks up one. Eventually, he'll be taken down, but still, a C9 5-kill lead, 37-32, StelluR with rockets.
Oh, but Formal's there to meet him. Where did those rockets go? Formal, he's got the Bulldog, but there's a trade coming in now, and just on that window shelf like a hot pie from a cartoon are the rockets, and Penguin finds them.
Look at that, rockets down bottom middle, 2 dead for both sides here. It's still just a 4-kill game as we get ready for the home stretch.
5 kills between the two teams. StelluR pressurizing 2 players from Optic Gaming. Cloud's managed to pick up that next rocket though. He's the man to watch with how grouped up Optic are here. It might not just be 1 kill, it could be 2 if he can find his targets. Lucid changes to the barrel rifle smartly to make sure that rocket is still in his hands.
Oh
this
my
one
God.
connects. It's bound time!
Look at this, he's shooting some bodies as well. This is a rookie on a mission here. He leads this team in KD in this tournament. It's been an unbelievable performance, a triple kill late game with incredible rocket discipline as well. They now lead 44-37.
Bound is applying so much pressure here to Optic, but maybe that was a little bit too much in that situation. 16 and 10 in this game. Number 2 is Bound, but that death has opened the door now for Optic. It's a 5-kill game.
And keep in mind, with what we've seen this series, and especially this game has been back and forth. We have seen several lead changes. Penguin somehow stays alive and might even get away with a kill here. He's surrounded by players on Optic.
I'm pretty sure that all of Optic are one-shot here. Penguin's got a challenge, but there's multiple players inside a Tram weak. Cloud9 have the chance to push. They're gonna take that opportunity. StelluR cleans up one. Formal trying to scarper away, but can C9 hunt him down?
Look at this, Formal just gets around the corner. 3 kills to go here for Cloud9. It's a 7-kill lead. As things will slow down for just a second, but C9 might apply the pressure yet again.
Bound has 18 kills in a game number 2 in a World Championship final. For Optic, we've seen them already pull off an incredible Slayer comeback. They have the rockets to play with as well. Good information gathered here by TriPPPeY. He finds one. This game's getting closer. There's Bound again. TriPPPeY, there's a trade from Bound. It's 1 to go here for C9. And Pznguin will tie things up.
What a response from Cloud9. In the end, clutching up after back-to-back-to-back lead changes in a wild street slayer. Bound goes 20-12 in a grand finals game 2.
This man loves the main stage. He's looking at home up there at the moment, and C9, like we mentioned, they're in the grand finals for a reason. Optic had to work hard to stay in that game. That moment, though, you can target it when you've got such talented teams on your main stage where the game swung. Optic had the play, they had the tools. Cloud9, the way they baited out both of those rockets, made the power weapon irrelevant, and then were able to collapse was quite simply brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. An amazing response from the side of C9 to tie the series 1-1. And in the end, we'll take a look at some replays from that game, because my God, was it ever a fantastic game number 2 Slayer. Here's the last minute of play.
Not to worry just for a moment here. You can see the Bound thought he had enough damage to maybe just pick up another kill. But all of Optic being trapped inside a tram here towards the end, it was this damage that actually came in from Pznguin as well. You see, he jumps up. He knows he's got a thrust to play with as well. I think this is the only reason he makes this play. Look how he can do damage, but he can get out of there as well.
And then this, he gets Lucid, so he's buying so much time. He's even shooting TriPPPeY. He shot all 4 players on Optic at this point. He gets all the damage they need.
All the damage they need. The good thing here for C9 is they managed to collapse on that damage as well. That's the difference, right? We talk about damage, which is vital. If none of that gets cleaned up, it's just a -1 for Pznguin.
Right.
And Optic have an opportunity to push numbers elsewhere on the map.
In the end, great control from Cloud9, and we gotta say, as we have a second here, to talk about what just transpired in that match. During the Optic Gaming listen-in, how many times did you see Cloud9 players get away without trading? There were at least 5 or 6 examples on screen, and you and I looked at each other, we said, my God, the teamwork here. It was almost perfect late game composure, but look at this Bound trade. Once again, Bound will trade here in the back of A. That's huge to bring them to 49.
Yeah, that double kill from Bound. I mean, every single time we seem to see Bound in the kill feed, it's a double kill. A lot of the time, he's so quick at cleaning up one and then immediately turning his attention somewhere else on the map to put influential damage down to help out Cloud9 in those numbers situations. Speaking of numbers, it's 1-1 now in our grand finals, and we head over to Livefire for a little bit of King of the Hill.
And let's not forget, that loss there for Optic Gaming is only their second. Cloud9 have only issued Optic's second loss. It will be in Street Slayer. Optic was undefeated, of course, in that game type. Cloud9 had been 1-1. So to bounce back in that game type with great late game composure, pretty huge as we set our sights on King of the Hill on Livefire.
We do, indeed. This is an interesting one. King of the Hill as a game type, I feel like we've seen Cloud9 beat Optic in that final in Orlando, right? Yes, it was recharged, but it was the way they won it as well. It was such a devastating win. It was 4-0, and it looked like Optic were just completely played off the park. However, we have also seen C9 bleed a little bit. We take ourselves back to the game against Native Red, where it went down to that last overtime hill. Some crazy stuff is still to come, not just in this series, but maybe in this next game as we take a look at 2 key players on either side.
Key players, absolutely. Formal and Pznguin on your screen. This is their King of the Hill specific Halo World Championship stats this weekend. Formal at a huge 1.30 kills per death. And also big damage here coming out of both players here, both in the 6,000 club.
If there's one player you probably want in a control-based game type, where you're holding down angles, you're setting things up. I mean, this guy's been doing it for 10+ years on different titles, right? Whether it's on a head glitch, whether it's on top of the pit, it doesn't matter. Wherever it is, this man knows how to hold down those angles, but the same can be said about Pznguin as well. The damage output from this man cannot be matched by many.
I mean, especially, we talked about it earlier on the desk, but his stats in Orlando were absolutely nuts. Even in a grand final that they lost, he had the highest assists in the entire tournament, and he was dealing so much damage. It's a very different story, though, here in Seattle. Let's not forget, Pznguin was actually the kill leader coming into the day before Bound took that lead. So Pznguin and Bound both dealing absolute damage, but the man on the closest part of your screen here, Bound, 20-12 in a game that they win by 5. That's a big momentum boost.
It certainly is, and I think the point that you're raising there is really vital to kind of elaborate on as well. The fact that responsibility of both kills, deaths, assists, objective is being shared now by all of Cloud9. It matches what Optic do so well, right? Whenever we look at damage stats, whenever we look at KDs, assists, whatever it is, there's always like a little bit of, you know, Lucid's usually got a few more kills, let's be real, but it's usually pretty even across the board for Optic. Everyone is comfortable doing every single role, and at this level, in a World Championship final, you need to be comfortable doing whatever it takes to win.
Absolutely, and you heard him say it in Orlando, and you might have caught it in the process as well. The Optic documentary series, there's one more job to do, and it has already proved to be a difficult one. These two teams tied 1-1 as we head into game number 3. It's going to be King of the Hill on live fire.
Chance maybe for Optic Gaming to go into the lead, or for C9 to start casting some doubt towards the green wall. King of the Hill first to capture 4 hills, or before that time expires, is where we're going to find ourselves. Now, live fire at the start of this game was an Optic haven. It was their home ground. You kind of almost had the posters of Optic Gaming up on the wall the way they played this. They never lost this map. That has changed slightly. Can Cloud9 change that narrative once more?
That is the question. Both of these teams also undefeated in this game-type series. It's all tied up. Everything to play for here in the grand finals at the Halo World Championship. Starting things off with Bound.
Interesting to see what the opening strategy is here from Cloud9 as well. Oh! I mean, there's opening strategy and there's just insane individual skill, and you've just seen kind of both.
Absolutely here. That was 3 dead for Optic Gaming. Now TriPPPeY is going to be the last player alive with the heat wave, though, on the key door, and already starts to deal the damage. Overshield still available, and great pressure, great positioning here from TriPPPeY in the cuts.
TriPPPeY's just weaving through the map at the moment. He's going to come in behind Bound and find one. The kill was cleaned up from Lucid as well. That should be an overshield going into the hands of Optic Gaming. So Cloud9, they fought for it, they scraped for it, but early time was also picked up by C9. So this is a chance for Optic to break and put a hold together of their own.
They're able to get early time, but in the end, you have to think TriPPPeY was last player alive down bottom mid key door, and somehow off of the respawns, he helps his team lock down that entire part of the map. He gets a kill on scoreboard, he goes cuts, shuts down dummies, and Optic Gaming get the overshield on the back of that heroic individual effort from TriPPPeY.
And that's why we always talk about how important it is to make sure that last player alive dies as quickly as possible, because he can come back and do so much damage to so many. As C9 found out, at the moment though, Formal is just locking things down. C9, they might just be about to lose this first point. Optic up by 1.
Wasting no time, Optic Gaming, even though down to an early deficit, like we said, they take the advantage from the overshield, and they will get the first point on the board. However, off of the back of that, C9 looks to counter. They had 3 dead for Optic.
They had 3 dead, and they managed to clean the last player out of tower, but Lucid spawned just momentarily before TriPPPeY was taken down. I'm not sure if they know they're here. They certainly do now. As Formal picks up 1, Lucid is causing problems back in the tower.
It's a heads-up play from C9. You can tell by the way the Bound checked that corner that the comms were coming in, that there's still someone here around tower. Bound and the team prioritize it. Overshield is up here.
Overshield is up. That commando is not moving from that overshield spawn. StelluR trying to put pressure onto Optic as well. This is a great play coming in from one of the smartest players in the game as well, to apply pressure from that key door. Use that heat wave, but TriPPPeY's there to meet him, and TriPPPeY will take him down.
Well, what a play from TriPPPeY there. Pznguin unable to help because his shields were recharging. Overshield still up. Here goes APG. Can't get it. That's a double kill for Bound.
TriPPPeY's still alive though, still putting pressure on. Bound is down to 0 shields. He's barely got any help, but now he has. He comes out dressed in yellow. The overshield goes to C9.
Overshield goes to C9, but it's melted right away. It was a Bound versus TriPPPeY 1v1. Bound wins that off of positioning here. A lot of points on the board here on the second hill for C9. They still control tower, and Bound still with the heat wave.
TriPPPeY goes into distraction though. Bound turns his attention away. Lucid with the repulsor. Will make Bound look a little bit awkward in the way that he gets that kill, but it's enough to get the job done. Now Bound is on the flank, and now he's got the heat wave. He finds 1. APG, I'm sorry, you go down 2. It's 5 in a row for Bound. He's on a killing spree.
Oh my god, a killing spree from Bound. 3 dead for Optic Gaming. You have to talk about Bound hitting the repulsor jump at that timing. Actually got him out of the sight line of TriPPPeY checking key door there on dummy door, and then he flies back and gets the double kill. It's just brilliant movement, brilliant timing from Bound.
The man is a movement magician, and with that play and with C9 picking up the kills they required, it's 1-1 now, but Optic have rotated to this next hill, the garage. Oh, but there's an opening pierced by a sniper rifle bullet.
And you were wondering maybe if this is a different C9 than Orlando. I think C9 has already told us that they're a very different team here. All 4 dead for Optic Gaming.
What a break that is from 1 bullet, a golden bullet. Fired by StelluR to get that headshot. Now attention not only turns to the hill and the break for Optic, they've got to think about that overshield as well.
First kill does go to Optic. They do have the damage in the break, but we'll see if they can convert here to even more points on the board. Uh-oh.
Sniper rifle, BR, it doesn't matter. StelluR just looks absolutely locked into this series. Formal's going to be challenging. Formal can't get the stick. StelluR will take him down. It should be an OS now going once again to Cloud9. Lucid picks up one, but it's not enough pressure to keep StelluR off the OS.
What an absolute flood there from Cloud9 working together. They lose two They lose two players, but StelluR just walks in. Bodies TriPPPeY as well. We'll see if he can finish.
The pressure coming in from Optic, though. It's a boxing match. The knockout blow is finally landed by Optic. But StelluR went down swinging.
Two players dead here. Repulsor in the hands of TriPPPeY. In the hill, he's going to get a little bit of recontrol here. Two players dead for both sides, and out of that scrap, it will finally be Optic Gaming scoring it again. They trail just by a bit here on hill number 3.
Pznguin flies in. The rest of the cavalry from Cloud9 about to arrive top middle as well, but TriPPPeY's ready for it. Eco picks up one. Bound last alive, though. The push coming in is unsuccessful, and now we are seeing a tied time on this third hill. Brilliance from Optic on the whole.
Look at Bound, stays alive for the scoreboard health. They get one, they do not get two, though. Bound, by the way, 11-5 in this game. He is picking up where he left off.
Flame down coming in from Eco as well. APG, he's close, and now you're seeing the break again. A clean break from Cloud9, and it was just in time as well. Look how close Optic were to converting this next point.
And guess what? Once again, it's Bound. He stays alive. Last player alive on the scoreboard. He gets damage on scoreboard and damage on window, and they convert yet again. Optic is not being as efficient in the 4-dead category as we have seen them in the past.
And Eco now looking to take Lucid down. My word, that thing melts. It's 2-1 now to Cloud9. They roar back in the game, and Optic have to watch him rotate to the next hill from the death screen.
Two dead here still, off the break there. And Cloud9 is looking like they are starting to gain steam. Overshield popping in 8 seconds as well.
Scary thing here for Optic as well is the Bound is making a brilliant decision here. Pressurizing these players at the back of green, create space for Eco to pick up this overshield. If you get the overshield now, inside of that hill, there's a huge opportunity to make this 3-1. It's a desperate play coming in from Optic, but it is C9 who do get that next OS.
Look at this here, and heroic effort from APG, but still, as you say, still two dead for the side of Optic. Let's get into an Astro listening with Cloud9.
Okay. Watch on screen. Going worse there. He's on the vent. He's on the vent.
Nice, good shot, good shot.
Do that. Keep living.
I can hold tower,
Watching smaller. Mud on me. Okay. I'm looking over. I'm gonna look at the jump. Yo, Nest bridge. One shot. C-box. APG.
Can I hit him?
And I got Nest again.
Nest. APG's like pillars or something.
She's elbow.
Yo, tell me door now. I'll close on you.
I spawn on you, then I can help you. Need your big cut.
Elbow weak.
Big cut is one shot.
Dummy door and bottom tower weak. Watch out bottom tower. Going top tower.
There's a lot of them.
Tire box weak. Tire box blinking. Getting his shield back. He's aiming top mid. He's one mid cut. He's going down mid cut.
One shot bottom mid. One shot pillars.
One shot in hill. One shot
elbow. One shot elbow. APG.
Make a play together here.
Heals weak.
One shot. Keep looking.
Bound. Yep.
Getting in the hell.
They're gonna be tower. I'm gonna go green one.
A bound. I've phone behind you, bound.
Actually, I'm gonna go to brain.
Look at me. He's close.
Two dummy door.
Needing a rebraid.
No more damage.
APG.
One shot dummy door. Head back tower.
One shot. Pillar. Make cut to top mid. Make cut to top mid.
I hear you. Two guys C boxes. Two guys tower boxes.
I spawned there.
I got backstab.
Left and right. Yeah.
I'm in.
Well, back in the game then, and Pznguin is the POV we're going to be watching because he's found TriPPPeY without any shields whatsoever. C9 up 3-1 during that time, and they're inside of that next hill as well and looking strong.
Oh boy, a little ring around the rosy for Pznguin. He picks up a nice kill, and the C9 fans in the building, they love to see it. By the way, Cloud9 is outslaying 56-43 at this stage in the game.
Repulsor inside of the hill as well means that he can wait for these grenades to come in, or maybe he can take to the heavens. TriPPPeY comes in for the break zone, one dead per side. Bound trying to keep pressure on that hill, and while this is happening, the distraction on the hill from Bound means that Pznguin can pick up yet another overshield here for Cloud9. He puts TriPPPeY in the dirt, and he's looking for more.
Nice job there, APG. Make sure to prioritize that overshield player. I think Bound will clean it up. He does another double kill, and it's 3 dead yet again for Optic Gaming.
How does he do it? It's just double kill from Bound. His ability to move from step 1 to step 2 means that step 3 is complete. Here for Cloud9, they're up 2-1 in the series, and that was a scary looking performance.
Scary indeed, and maybe the scariest thing is Bound went 21-10. Wow, in that game against Optic Gaming, absolutely unbelievable. That puts him at positive 19 across the last 2 games alone.
This man wants a world championship. I'm sure that StelluR and Eco have Mentioned him before, it feels pretty good to lift one of those up, and I'm sure he's desperate to do it himself. The man who was questioned as the replacement for Renegade. After a couple of games here, maybe he is not the question, maybe he's the answer.
Absolutely could be, and right now he looks to be in World Championship form after that game that we just saw. Here's a look at some of the highlights there. Optic Gaming off to an early lead, but that story changed very quick.
Brilliant movement again from Bound. You're just going to see double kill, double kill, double kill every time that you're on his POV. But also we should talk about that one sniper bullet, that one shot from StelluR that turned this hill into a C9 point. The ability to break is so difficult against a team who's set up so well like Optic. One shot with a sniper rifle, sometimes it's all you have to create that opening.
And even off the back, look at that. They scored the second hill and still up. Cloud9 gets 4 dead on Optic off the back of that really, really great timing the entire game from Cloud9. And we can't say enough good things about Bound. It feels like every time we see him, he's got a heat wave on the dummy door, and he does it again. He goes 21 and 10 with 10 assists to boot. He's also tied for most assists on the team. That is leading in every single category in the game. Absolutely unbelievable from him.
Now we move forward, 2-1 in the favor of Cloud9. Recharge will be the next battleground for both of these teams, and it's time for a little bit of Strongholds action. Now, this is a fascinating game to have up next. With the pace that C9 have been playing, if Optic cannot win that opening battle, find themselves down numbers, C9 seem to be clicking. As StelluR said in the listening that we had back from Orlando, it almost seems to be like it's one mind at the moment.
It's true, and it feels like C9 wants to play the game faster and faster and faster. And as we talked about earlier, Bound has found that great balance between continuous, chaotic aggression and still doing damage that counts the most across the map. We're starting things off with Bound. He's positive 19 across the last 2 games.
Big moment for both teams. In this series, if C9 manage to steal away this game, it will be one more game until we reset that bracket for them. Optic, the last thing on their minds right now. They do not want to go through that.
Penguin picks up another kill on TriPPPeY. That was a momentary 3 dead for Optic Gaming. Going to be an AC hold early on for Optic, though.
Bound's got away with the camouflage, though. You can see that there was a flood towards top A from Optic just to get early scoring in their hands. A bit of pressure is going to come in here. Formal has got the shock rifle. Bound is going to challenge. He doesn't care, but Formal matches the challenge. He accepts it and comes out on top.
Let's be honest here, Cloud9 has so far silenced Formal largely during this series. We normally see him pop it off, and maybe that's exactly what he's starting to do. Making a double for Formal.
Sometimes you need someone to step up, and Formal said, I ain't here to lose this series. I want to gain a world championship, and now he is taking Cloud9 apart.
3 dead still for Cloud9 here. It's a trip cap, and let the points tick, tick, tick for the side of the green wall. They will continue scoring, and it's 51-0.
Full setup here as well. Bound's going to challenge once more, and he has to. He has to try and pressurize his shock rifle player. One shot missed. Means that Cloud9 have an opening now. Lucid trying to challenge. StelluR picks up 2. That's 3 dead momentarily for Optic, and that is a chance now for C9 to get some control back.
And look at the opening here. It's 80-0 in favor of Optic Gaming, and Bound is 0-4. They've shut him down this game so far.
Yeah, and StelluR just shooting the floor there to try and influence the spawn, bluff that pipe spawn, get everyone trapped over at C, but Optic already on the map. Optic already putting 2 players from Cloud9 in the death screen, and they're already turning P back over.
Yeah, looks like Optic is ready to play just as fast as C9 here. They will fall 2 dead, though. Maybe an opportunity for C9 to bounce back, make that 3 dead.
It's going to be 3 dead. They're going to play for B and C here. This is what Cloud9 do. All focus has to be split now from Optic. The communication has to be perfect. They're thinking, do we try and stop B? Do we try and stop C? What's the play call? The question is they can't do either. It's a trip cap now for Cloud9.
Cloud9 responding in a big way. They're trying to bring this game back, and they have camo as well. It's Optic leading 87-26. Let's get into an Astro listening with Optic Gaming.
Yo, already back here.
Backside.
Very weak bottom elevator.
Back elevator, 2 of them. One camo there. Bottom elevator camo. Bottom elevator camo.
Make sure we're looking at the same stuff.
We're still in the lead. We're still in the lead.
They have camo there, so. Remember that.
He should be out here like 10 seconds.
They're gonna push gold door, Joy.
Yeah, she's on backside. Backside. I'm trying to watch Joey.
Neither me. I needed it. Finger weak, go, half out, finger.
We're gonna shoot nades, careful. We have 2 guys. Double stack, wait.
In top Mangler also.
Double stack somewhere.
Double stack.
I died bottom tower. He's going Mangler pit. He was going Mangler pit.
Penguin.
They backed off, guys. They backed off.
We're in tower.
We're gonna have to hit mid. We're gonna have to hit mid here.
Somebody play bottom.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Hit mid.
Go.
Run mid together. Belch.
He's got sniper. That's MD, guys.
Help me. He's in gold.
You got Glass and Commando.
Glass and Commando weak.
Shot. Wow.
Take your time. Air shot. Play your life now.
We spawn long hold there and see.
Hoppy.
Try the weak bound. We have
Yeah, we gotta push
the
that.
weak bound.
You guys here.
Half StelluR.
Nothing there.
You're dead, guys. So one place right here.
Okay, take your time, guys.
I need help. We're already in seconds.
They're gonna spawn silo, guys. They're gonna spawn silo.
We need that. Yeah, we need help.
Eco weak one over there.
Watch cross. Top is cross.
Watch out for the
They're already long haul, guys. They're already long haul.
Tommy has got cross.
Nice.
tower. I'm looking at
Camo's coming, yes. Yeah. They might be on Camo. We're looking good.
As we jump back into the game, Optic turnover A, but not before C9 turn over the scoreline. It's Cloud9 in a slender lead at this point, and I have to say, Optic's sounding a little bit flustered at times there.
Yeah, definitely. You even heard it earlier in the series as well. You heard it during that live fire game. Slow things down, slow this down. We are still in control, and C9 is certainly applying the pressure, but only an 8-point game. Optic will resume scoring now, just down by 5 points.
APG trying to be sneaky here. He knows the bound is going to try, Pznguin. He's going to make a play to try and convert. He's going to get the beat down. Penguin's there, but can't get damage. Here's bound APG. Sneaky. Managing to stay alive and hold off the push from Cloud9 almost on his own there,
Yeah. Also, look at the technical work there from APG. He so well times that play, gets one shot, doesn't take any damage there. It will be a lead change yet again. Optic Gaming takes the lead, 125 to 110. Back and forth here in game number 4.
Now the kills are starting to fall in the favor of Optic. They've fought and they've battled back into this game. TriPPPeY with a little bit of damage onto those players over the C means that Cloud9 have to readjust the game plan. AC the hold here for Optic Gaming. Looks like Eco and Pznguin now desperately trying to work together to turn A back into the favor of C9. And if they can do that, they'll be scoring once more.
Look at Formal's numbers here. 14 and 7 in this game, showing up in a big way, and certainly the biggest that he's done all series long. Trades for Eco and TriPPPeY.
Lucid here, found already trying to pressurize C here, trying to turn the attention away. APG and Formal just trapped inside a long haul here. Penguin's not going to let him trap there for long though. He's going to push him. He's looking for 2 here. He finds 2. Penguin's on the hunt.
That's going to be big here. BC now in control of Cloud9 and making sure to get that reset as well. Optic Gaming still leading by 12 points, but C9 slowly crawling their way back yet again.
Bound just manages to snap onto the head of a player there. BC still in the hands. Just as the game is tied up, Formal makes a play onto B, but he's immediately removed from the stronghold. Camo, the next focus for both teams, is up right now.
It's a lead change yet again. Cloud9 will go into a very, very narrow lead by 2 points. By the way, back-to-back killing sprees there just about for Pznguin. He's now 11 and 7.
By the time you finish the sentence about the lead change, it's back into the hands of Optic Gaming. That's just about how close this is. Pznguin on a killing spree at the moment with this camouflage, finds another kill as well. That should be aid being turned back. And look at this, I love the play call from Cloud9. They say, Pznguin, you've got camo, you go forward, we'll finish the cap. And now we can pressurize Optic.
Playing this slowly. Look at this. Pznguin needs to be so careful here with the camo. He now has help coming in. He will start to deal the damage.
Brilliant. But it's almost as brilliant coming in from Optic Gaming, but StelluR with that double kill is going to make things a little bit more interesting. TriPPPeY left on his own, bound in a 1v1, but TriPPPeY puts him on his back.
That's huge. Just look at the heat that we've seen from Bound all series long. They've actually kept Bound negative still in this game. It's a big 1v1 from TriPPPeY.
Big push onto A here from Optic. Eco's going to be able to get the reset. It's a big, big play from Kevin Smith and the rest of the crew. Eco currently sat at 8 and 14. If you're looking at stats, maybe that's not the most impressive, but it's those plays, jumping in a stronghold, getting the resets. The death is almost worth it sometimes.
Absolutely. Eco doesn't really care what's in the top right of the screen here right now. All he knows is they are leading by over 30 points. Bound picks up another one as well. That will be the opening kill.
Optic trapped in tower as well, the last 2, and here comes Bound. Doesn't need to be asked twice. Hits the slide to get from A to B as quickly as possible. It's almost a signature of this man at this point. And look at this, they just cannot stop him.
Look at Bound, he's in a 1v2, he's so confident, the assist comes in as well. This is what he's been doing all series long. He's finally positive for the first time in this game, but they are now up 207 to 154.
Reset comes in as well, a triple cap. Here for Cloud9, 214 and rising, even with Optic inside of B and C. You have to wonder where these kills are going to fall. If it's around B, and it's going to allow Pznguin to get the reset, then Cloud9 are going to be feeling good. It's 2 for 2 on the map.
They're even working on C as well here. Take a look here, Camo up bottom middle as well. 225 to 154. This game is slipping away from Optic Gaming.
And look who's in the kill feed with another double kill. title. His name is Bound. If you didn't know him before this series, get to know him now because Cloud9 have another triple cap here.
Oh my God, you won't believe this. Cloud9 was down by 13 kills earlier on. They were down 36 slays to 23, and they are now trailing by 47 kills. My God, what a win.
What a win. A dominant win. A Cloud9-esque win. We've got a series on our hands, and if you are thinking maybe this is going to be done in 7 games, I've got some news for you. 3-1 to Cloud9. If they win this next game, we reset the bracket.
The question was, what Cloud9 would we get here in Seattle? And they have showed up in a huge way. Outslaying their opponents in the end, they're 51-50. And a huge rally at the end of that match, just totally run away with the game. And like we heard during the listening, it felt like they were just putting all the pressure on Optic Gaming.
Little moments, bits of timing. C9 is so good at it, just making sure that the last second there'll be a challenge on a stronghold, a little bit of damage across map, whatever it is. It formulates and equates to perfect teamwork a lot of the time. And now we have to talk about Optic in this situation, right? Because we were talking about the story coming into this event of how tough it is to get to the top of the pile, to win a championship. But as we all know, getting to the top is one thing, but staying there, it's even more difficult.
It is even harder, and you have to wonder that Orlando win. Did it come a bit too early in the season there, as they already tasted victory, but they want the World Championship? We'll take a look at some of the highlights from that game. Let's not forget, it was all Optic all the way early on. As we said, they were outslaying C9 by 13 kills at one point.
I mean, probably because of this man, Formal. The way he started this game, I'm sure the Cloud9 were like, it was that good, the Cloud9 probably weren't that bothered by it, you know? Sometimes it's just like, yeah, he's hitting everything. There's not much we can do. We're not making bad plays. We're just getting cut down by Formal. But from this moment, the first triple cap, one thing that C9 did extremely well was never let it get out of hand. It was always within touching distance. And then towards the end of that game, when they got that triple cap, when they started to put Optic members one after one in the respawn screen, Optic didn't have an answer. They could not get back on the map.
Absolutely not, and it just felt like they were just controlling the entire map. The plays from Bound at the end from Hydro to take on a 1v2 against APG and Formal, I mean, the confidence there, it's through the roof.
C9 moving around the map beautifully as well. The speed at which they get from point A to point B is unmatched by many. And now, I mean, there's a story behind this map in itself. Optic perfect on Aquarius Slayer. C9 lost that game 5 versus Native Red to fall down to the elimination bracket. And I say lost, they got stomped on it.
They got lost 50-35 against Native Red in that game type, so they will be very familiar with Aquarius Slayer. Just to set the table here, you will need to see Optic Gaming win the next 3 games straight in order to take the title. However, if Cloud9 wins one of those 3 games, we are going to a second best of 7, a grand finals reset.
Well, let me tell you, the energy in this room is starting to amp up a little bit as well. And that's what it's all about, that trophy in the middle of the stage. It's not often you get the opportunity to be in a grand final, let alone to go on and win the damn thing.
And how must Optic Gaming be feeling here? On top of the world, not only coming into the event, but undefeated coming into this series. Only dropping 1 map. Now they've dropped 3 straight here. Tripled their total map deficits in a matter of a 45-minute period. But you see smiles on their faces.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. We know how Optic want to respond, right? The worst thing you can do in this situation is get down on yourself. But in the battle of the main Slayers, it's the rookie who is having the series argument of his life right now.
I don't know if we've ever seen Lucid with a negative KD ever in any stat card that's been presented this season. This is the first time we've seen this, and Bound is absolutely popping off at a 1.46. He is such a huge factor in these last 3 wins for Cloud9.
Incredible. It's amazing, isn't it? Like, this guy before the season started had never attended a LAN. Now he's on the main stage. Now we know what he looks like. And Optic at the moment, they know how it feels to go against him.
They certainly do. Just when they thought they might shut down Bound, right? They have a huge huge slaying lead in that last game. Bound is 0-4 to start the game. Maybe this is what they needed. Of course, Bound ends that game positive, and they end the game on a huge spree. Even in his player cam, you can just take a look at Bound, right? Talking with the team, ready to go. They know what's at stake here. comes down to these final 3 games. Optic will need to win 3 straight, but let's remind ourselves, they are entirely capable of doing that. They're coming into this series with 13 straight series wins.
Let's remember as well, even if they don't win this next game, there's another 7 games potentially in front of us.
Right.
A lot of Halo to be played here in Seattle before we crown a Halo World Champion. But it's time to get into a game. It's time to see a little bit more of that. It's StelluR, 50 kills to win. If Cloud9 take this game home, we reset the bracket. Optic, they need a lifeline.
This is unbelievable here, and I think a lot of fans that have seen this tournament so far, you might not have expected the C9 lead at 3-1 at this stage in the grand finals, but that's exactly what we have ahead of us here. Aquarius StelluR will be your battleground. Optic needs this game and 2 more to stay alive.
Optic, of course, with that crazy comeback in the last few moments against Native Red. Native Red have had an influence on both the teams in this game, positively and negatively. But speaking of positive and negative, there's one man who's only in the positive. You can see his stats here. 1.46. Pretty much unbelievable.
Unbelievable indeed. Here's Formal trying to go away top middle. He always gets away with the camo. Formal's able to stay alive there with the camo momentarily. He will pop that, and now 1 kill lead for Cloud9. However, Formal with the play call.
APG there to help him out as well, and I don't know how Formal managed to stay alive in that situation. He was the last member on the map for just a second for Optic. So there's one man you can't leave alive. His name is going to be Formal. He does so much damage so consistently. Important for Cloud9 to shut him down almost immediately.
3 dead for Optic Gaming. They do just that. Lucid was your last player alive, and that will still be Cloud9 leading by just 1 kill. However, Heatwave is in control. All 4 players of Optic Gaming are spawning back base.
And that has become the weapon now for the swings, right? This is a power weapon on this game, not just from short range, but from medium range, even long range. If you can connect the bullets, if you can lead that shot. Bound trying to be slippery customer that we know he can be to try and escape, but now he gets chased down. 7-7, Optic back into this one.
3 dead for Cloud9. Like you said, Optic not just back in the lead as well. Will lead by 1 and try to slow this down. APG anchoring top mid, Formal across the map top pink as well.
And let me tell you, this feels like a StelluR for a lot of money.
Yeah.
And you ask him why, that's because it is! Pznguin, secondary life as a baseball pitcher, he connects.
3 dead yet again here. Formal is your last player alive, and just back and forth once again. We're tied up 10-10 here in game number 5.
Well, we're going to be challenging. Accepted. StelluR knew the help was there. That's the only reason that StelluR challenges in that situation. And as Cloud9 managed to get a 1 kill advantage, now the attention turns to top middle. The camo's about to be up.
Bound to take it down there. Lucid stays alive in the fridge. Once again, as you said, Heatwave going to play a huge role, and it does in that engagement as well. Looks like Lucid. He looks away for a second. I think we all panicked for just a moment. 2 dead here for Optic. 1 kill lead for Cloud9 now.
Who's going to make the move on the camo, though? TriPPPeY might open things up. Eco's trying to move to top middle. Couple of nades going in, but you can see with the longer this battle goes on, the less utility these players have to play with. No more grenades. Can't flush those players off the top middle, and it looks like Eco might have just managed to get away with that.
Bound is pushing in. Lucid does not hit the first shot, and it costs him. It's a great push from Bound, and also Eco now with the camo. Can Cloud9 extend this lead by just a bit?
I love watching Bound play. The confidence, mate. Who does that? Runs across the map and takes the 1v1. Eco causing the distraction top mid, and Bound just thinks, maybe that distraction is enough for me to get that first shot. Finds out the Heatwave is there, uses the thrust to get away. It's just perfect. Halo Infinite 1v1. I mean, the man is playing out of his mind at the moment.
He is now 3 kill lead for them. Camo runs out just in the nick of time here, and that's not good timing. TriPPPeY forces the trade. Eco will get it. In the end, it will still be a 3 kill lead for the side of Cloud9.
Heatwave has been almost exclusively in the hands of C9 as well. TriPPPeY trying to bait a little bit of damage. Survives for now. Bound just slowing things down for a second, waiting for that help to come in, and this is why Bound has improved so much in such a short time. Previously, Bound might have flown in there, knowing he had the Heatwave and a 1v1 opportunity, but this time he waits for the help, and that help turns into a 1-0 trade instead of maybe a 1-1.
He tries to go in there. Formal will get the better of it, but I agree, Bound. We've heard him talking about how he's worked on that exact timing with this team for quite some time, and it is paying off in the end. Cloud9 now leading 22-19 in what would be a series resetting game. Let's get into an Astro listening with Cloud9.
Yep. APG.
You in yellow.
Bounce pitching base. MP1.
Camel's coming up.
Okay.
You on that guy. Seconds. He's right here, weak. 2 shot on P1.
Okay,
Shocks are up. 2 shot P1 Adam.
We bait it. Pick one again. There's one in there.
On the right, Adam. Shocks are up.
Shot.
P jump probably. I got shock. I got shock nades.
Two in the base. Two in the base.
Yo, I'm looking at you, Camo. I'm looking at you.
I'm dying. One base, one shot, trippy.
Took about a mid. I need about a mid.
Nice piece. Got another one.
He won the yellow, blue. To your left, Kevin. To your left. I'm here.
There. Free yellow. Pink one, kill me. Almost pink one. Almost pink one, Zane. Dead.
I'm getting to the. Yo, this guy's my flag.
Yeah, go beyond Zane. Watch out, yellow flag on the floor.
Watch that yellow, yeah.
I'm super commando.
I'm actually one trying to kill me. One trying to kill me.
Okay,
I'm good.
Getting out the blue P.
Getting out to shot.
Shocks are up now.
I'm going yellow.
I have shocks. I'm looking yellow closet. Closet, trying to go south. Drones. Watch the turn. Listen. Two yellow flag.
One's yellow fridge.
Yeah, two yellow flag.
I'm here above you, Brayden. Tell me if they cross. Can you tell me if they cross?
Nice kill. Nice. Yeah, two yellow flag.
Yo, I'm going for two.
I'm shocking their base. Okay, I'm looking at window.
Watch the flag.
One's in the fridge.
Okay,
They're over there. They're four. Lucid weak.
Oh, 2 in fridge, 1 P tunnel. I'm looking P tunnel.
Commando. There's shrooms. Shrooms, front base, front yellow.
He's on your.
We never killed anyone.
There's two.
Pick one, I believe.
I got one.
Two there.
Yo, keep playing together. He's on the going fire. Both went fire. Both went courtyard.
Front base, one shot. APG brick.
I kill him.
On nade, they have shots.
I'm looking car.
I'm aping it. Top mid. I'm dead. Yellow car jump.
Watch out, your phone's out.
Dead.
One shot on the pistol. One shot.
Yeah.
He waved down. And then
Spawn there.
Camo 26.
Top yellow base. Top yellow window. Yellow window formal.
Out of the comms and into the gunfire. It's 36-30 now. C9 up by 6. Every kill is massive at this point. And with StelluR putting APG into the death screen, that lead has extended once more.
7-kill lead now. Look at StelluR's 12 and 7 here with a thrust in hand, and now starting to run away. This is the home stretch, and C9, you could say, has never looked better.
Camo up as well. StelluR challenges. Penguin's there as well. It is just a unit working almost as one mind, as StelluR would say. Every challenge, there's help. Every push, the assistance is there, but Formal shut down the Camo. The Camo is burnt and out of commission.
Optic Gaming wants to stay alive in this first grand final. They need to step it up, and they need to step it up right now. They're down by 9.
But the pressure just keeps coming in. Eco and StelluR pick up 2. Bound's already up to top pink. He's got a heat wave, and Optic are trapped in the fridge.
Look at this from C9. Bound knows exactly where he needs to be. He's just commanding pink side again. Picks up another one. See if he can clean up Formal and Fridge. Seconds away. Optic Gaming staying alive, but Cloud9 wants to close this out and close it out fast. They're only 6 kills away.
Positive 4 for Bound in this game as well. 14 kills, once again leading the lobby. Formal's doing what he can. 13 and 11, but there's another kill as the 45 kill mark is crossed by Cloud9. They are closing in. It's one team fight away for C9 to send us to a bracket reset.
Now 47 here, only 2 kills to go, make it 48. Penguins 13 and 8, 2 more kills to go for Cloud9, make it 1.
1 kill to go. Eco's managed to find where the spawns are coming in as well. All of Optic just trapped inside of this closet at the moment. Cloud9 are just going to get a trade. 1 push is all they need. StelluR's going to go in first. Big damage. Doesn't take damage himself. The defensive nade down come in. But Optic, they're not going to be able to do it. C9 reset the bracket here in Seattle.
Wow. C9 fans in the building, happy to see that. That's a big 4 games straight from Cloud9. After an early Optic Gaming lead in this series, they wanted to see none of that. And shush, says StelluR. He is here for one thing, and that is a Halo World Championship. We are going to a second best of 7.
The bracket is reset, and after what happened yesterday, all of the insane Game 5s, the reverse sweeps, at this point, are we surprised? Cloud9 send us to a shootout. One best of 7 now to decide who will be the Halo World Champion.
One best of 7 for $400,000 here, first place prize. And it looks like all Cloud9 all the way in those last few games. And my God, what a grand finals one. Like you said, there's no other way this grand finals could have gone. After the day we had so far, after the entire weekend that we've had here at the Halo World Championship, this is the way the story had to go. The top 2 teams, of course, fighting in one final series to crown a champion.
It's been that intense. I had to lose the jacket. I think we're actually back in camera. I had to lose the jacket. It's too warm to keep jumping about and enjoying this action in the way that I am at the moment. C9 on fire. And here's some of the highlights from that Aquarius Slayer. This man's just playing out of his mind at the moment, man. I know I keep hyping on about it, but the difference between when we saw him at the start of the year to now, it shows you why C9 took that risk, right? It was a situation maybe they didn't want to happen, but they have found gold. They have struck gold.
They absolutely have, and in the teamwork category, I also want to highlight, we talked a lot about Bound and StelluR in that game. Let's not forget, Pznguin was about +5. Eco was just about -2, but with the most assists on the team. Once again, Cloud9 is spreading all of the kills, damage, and assists across the team in a way that they did not do in Orlando. And it has shown to be hugely successful for them in Seattle in 4 straight wins against Optic Gaming.
Now, the concerning thing here for Optic as well is the manner of those defeats as well. It feels like game after game, that gap has started to increase. The loss seems to be a little bit, the win, excuse me, seems to be a little bit further away from them. C9 seems to be just taking over this series, and I almost feel like the break here between we go into the second best of 7 is going to benefit Optic more than it is anyone.
Absolutely, I think they need that mental reset. We haven't seen Optic on the receiving end of a loss like that in quite some time now, especially in that fashion. I think, Mark, we also got to mention that Optic was leading in almost every single game that we just saw in the last stretch, right? They are throwing away leads that Cloud9 is somehow bringing back in these heroic efforts, and they are here to play. That is for sure.
I love the way that Cloud9 are just applying pressure as well. As soon as they get that pick, you see them. They don't worry about map positioning too much. It's how quickly can all 3 of us collapse onto our next target and make it such a difficult situation. And you might be expecting a green wall if you were coming into this tournament. Well, it's dressed in blue, this series layout. Cloud9, after that first game going to Optic, win 4 in a row to send us to another best of 7.
And look at that series layout. I think if we're honest, and I think a lot of Halo fans are with us here, we were hoping maybe we'll get a grand finals reset at the last event of the year. We haven't had too many this year, that's for sure, and certainly not in LAN play. But how about getting one for the Halo World Championship? That is a hell of a series layout. Cloud9 just lays down the hammer 4 games in a row, and they reset the bracket. We'll take a look at a full series recap from your first best of 7.
I mean, the standout stats, the ones that jump off the page. Looking at the man who's crowned the MVP, right? 0.87 for KD in that series. That's going to have to change from Lucid. The same can be said for TriPPPeY, the long-time duo. These guys have been teaming pretty much since 2016. That first championship that came their way just a few weeks ago. Well, this is another level. With all due respect to what happened in Orlando, this is the biggest prize pool of the year. This is the most pressure of the year. And this is where your performance matters most.
Absolutely, and let's not forget, both TriPPPeY and Lucid were coming into this grand final on a 1.28 KD. Fantastic numbers into the tournament so far. Now they're both silenced with a KD below 1.0, as you saw in that first grand final. And we have never seen a grand finals reset in a Halo Infinite major, and we have one here on Championship Sunday at the Halo World Championship.
Shout out to our graphics op in the back, making sure that they got the graphic redone and added in the grand final reset at the end, because like you say, we haven't seen that before, but this is the road that both teams have taken to get here. And it's so fascinating just to take a second to actually look at this right from the quarterfinals, because on the Optic side, it's nothing but 3-0s. 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. Taking down G1, Sentinels, Native Red. Close games in there for sure, but the series overall is not close. On the other side of the bracket though, look how hard it's been for Cloud9. I mean, game 5s, all the way through the elimination bracket. Fights against the likes of FaZe Clan to get themselves into this position. And you can see here, even Ascent, my European brothers, they pushed them all the way as well with that game that they took. But I think the big thing for Cloud9 for me is, with all due respect to FaZe, we've seen Sentinels and C9 going back and forth all year long. That performance, first game of the day against Sentinels, the 3-0 beating that they gave them, it wasn't really a close series. I think that just made them believe once more that having beaten 2-time world champions, maybe it's their time to become 2-time world champions.